Hello, my friends, and welcome back to my channel and to what is not a TBR, but rather some possibilities. Because one cannot go without having some possibilities in mind for what is being dubbed as the greatest booktube event ever in the history of booktube, and that is GarbAugust, where the idea is to read books that are trash. and some people are more excited about it than others. There's a whole uh, gang of hosts that are willing to encourage people to dive into the trashier side of books. And I've got a few that could probably fit. But before I get to that, I want to talk about the one other event that I think is actually genuinely one to be excited about. And I'm going to be doing this. This is the one book that I am committing that I will read in August. And it is for Audible August. And that is done by Gareth over at Books, Songs, and Other Magic. And the idea is to, music is a big part of his life. So books that deal with music. And so I have this one right here, which has arguably one of the best covers that I've got. So this is Spider Kiss by none other than Harlan Ellison. And I'm excited to dive into Harlan Ellison again. It says, simply put, this is the best, the meanest rock novel ever written. That's why it's the only one enshrined in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Buy it. It bites back. So I am definitely reading that. The rest of what is going to follow is in no ways a commitment to read any of these, okay? I will still feel good if I read 0 of them. I will attempt to read at least a couple, and we'll see how it goes. So for GarbAugust, first we have one of a trio of books that I may or may not attempt to read, because there's yet another August event that is parallel to GarbAugust. It might as well be called GarbAugust. That is Book Trek. So I searched the local trash heaps and whatnot, and found these 3 in a little free library. Clearly, they were not valued by somebody. They wanted to get rid of this trash, and so I deposited some books in exchange for this, and I feel like I need my monies back. So if you have opinions on any of these 3 books and letting me know which one of the 3, I'm open to hearing. They're by 3 different authors, so even that's not a big help. So we have Equinox. These are all Star Trek Voyager. This one is by Diane Carey. It's based on Equinox Parts 1 and 2. So that definitely fits into GarbAugust right there. We have Marooned by Christy Golden. And Bless the Beasts by Karen Haber. So if one of those you've read and enjoyed, let me know. I have not watched any Star Trek Voyager. I haven't watched much of any Star Trek. I never got into Star Trek. And that was the only way I was going to participate in GarbAugust, or in Book Trek. So we'll see. We'll give one of them a shot for 5 pages, and then probably go cook some s'mores or something and use them as kindling. But in all seriousness, here comes the rest of the possibilities for GarbAugust. And so we have to start with a graphic novel, because as Michael likes to point out, he likes it when he gets a graphic novel. And so this is about as GarbAugusty as you can get. Superman and Tarzan, Sons of the Jungle. I don't even know how this can work, but this is a 3-issue volume. So it'll be a real easy read. And so this is why I can say I will finish at least one, most likely, because I could probably get through this. As trashy as it probably is, I don't know. I might need a whole box full of, comic books sent my way. X-Men. I'm sure those are GarbAugust material, right? I need lots and lots of X-Men. So we're just going to go through. This is one that was on my shelf. So we have Tarnsmen of Gore. Now, there's not 100 books in this series. Criminelli recently uncovered a bingo board for this. But I think there's like 36 in this series, and this is volume 1. So this is how the Gore series started. And, looking into how many were in there, it seems like this is a really, really good fit for GarbAugust and the spirit of GarbAugust. So it says, here's the magnificent world of Gore, known also as Counter-Earth, a planet as strangely populated, as threatening, as beautiful as any you are likely to encounter in the great works of fiction. We predict that one day the name of John Norman will be counted among the top writers of sword and sorcery. This is the beginning. Don't miss it. From what I understand, Burroughs was a big influence on this author and creating this, so we'll see how that goes. So we have right here in solitary. This is by Gary Kilworth. That cover looks like it could be suitably GarbAugusty. It says, an alien race of winged conquerors rules the earth. Humans are kept in rigid isolation from each other, except for controlled mating. Only 2 dare to join forces in an illicit bond of love and revolt. Cave, the last Earthmen in Brighton, banished from the crystal-walled city to the desolate mudflats of Hesse, where each tide drives the solitary exiles to the refuge of transparent needle towers. Stella, the beautiful, determined revolutionary, sworn to overthrow Earth's tyrannical, bird-like oppressors, even as she carried a bold and startling secret. Together they flee the exotic South Sea Islands, where they defy the extraterrestrial masters and explore seductive new worlds of passion. Then, from the stars from which had come their subjugation, falls hope of rescue and a brutal, unexpected choice. I think that's pretty suitably GarbAugusty. One that I picked up not too long ago, because this is a tie-in to a movie franchise, and it's based off the Warcraft, series, which started as a computer game. Obviously, this is definitely GarbAugust material, and I'm pretty sure that final price of $3 was probably more than this book is worth. But we'll see. Continuing with movie tie-ins, we have one right here, Battlestar Galactica. I haven't watched much Battlestar Galactica. I think I've seen a few episodes maybe. So, The Greatest Space Epic Ever from ABC TV and Universal by Glenn A. Larson and Robert Thurston. This is a special edition right there. You can tell it's special because it's not even a sticker. You can't take that off. And of course it's got, TV stills on the back. And now we're going to go to another one that I think is suitably on there. And this is probably the other one that I'm going to read. For sure, along with the Superman Tarzan. It'll probably be the first one I pick up because it won't take long. And it's going to bring back a little bit of childhood nostalgia. And that's this Worlds of Power novel, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. I played this video game a lot when I was a kid on the regular Nintendo. I mean, this is a very, very thin volume. I read a couple other of these Worlds of Power books, and so I'm excited to dive into this one and see what it's like. I imagine if I went back to the other Worlds of Power that I had read, they would be equally trashy. So I expect that to be a very, very fitting one on there. So next we have an Andre Norton and Dorothy Madley novel, Starcat World. I've had this one for a while. And just look at that. I mean, you got the 2 kids and the cat, and it says, Jim and Ellie Mae must rescue their cat friends from killer robots. If that's not GarbAugusty, I don't know what is. Now, obviously, GarbAugust in a very different light than something like that Gore novel. I don't expect there to be a lot of seduction and whatnot in here. But it'll be a very, very thin. I think it might be the thinnest one in here. Oh, it even has pictures in here. So that makes it even shorter. So yeah, I think this will be suitable. I have it on good authority. I had asked somebody that knows this author really well if any of their works are considered suitable for GarbAugust. And I was told, I think 2 or 3 different novels. I looked at my shelf and I had one of them. So I will be reading The Monster Men by Edgar Rice Burroughs, potentially. We'll see. This is not Tarzan. No. Was the man called Bulan? Bulan. Sure. A jungle god or a creation of unholy science? He was a thing without a name. To Professor Maxon, he was number 13, the last and best of the brilliant scientist's attempts to create human life in the coffin-shaped vats of a secret laboratory. To the band of 11 misshapen creatures who stalked the trackless jungles of an island off the coast of Borneo, he was the soulless god who had freed them from a brutal captor. The fierce Dayak warriors called him Bulan, invincible foe of the headhunters and demonic spirit of the tropic moon. But Maxon's daughter Virginia knew him as the handsome stranger who had saved her from the treacherous Dr. Von Horn. And the only being, whether man or monster, who could help her escape from an island of terror. And clearly, he is helping her escape. And so we have 2 more well-known authors here. Ones that you may not think of immediately when you think of GarbAugust. And one of them being Isaac Asimov here. But this was him writing as Paul French. And this is a Lucky Star novel. Lucky Star and the Rings of Saturn. I think this is probably going to fit. And this is 144 pages. You'll notice most of these are like the 140 to 200 range. And that's good, because then I might get through a couple of them. The twin rings of Saturn were suddenly swarming with the robot ships of deadly Syrian enemy. The avowed antagonists of Earth, they had crossed 50 trillion miles of space to provoke a war which they knew they could not lose. For the awesome forces of Earth dared not rally against the invaders. Only Lucky Star of Earth's Council of Science had a chance to avert the impending galactic holocaust. But one slip-up, and his daring plan would mean certain death, and a place in history as Earth's most infamous traitor. I mean, that sounds fun in a GarbAugust way. And then we have one that the cover stands out here. And this is an author, I could have probably picked Stainless Steel Rat. I still have a 3rd novel of that in my little collection there that I need to get to. But I'm going to be potentially doing Galactic Dreams by Harry Harrison. And that cover right there is what at first caught my interest. It says, featuring a new Bill the Galactic Hero story. And I imagine that is Bill the Galactic Hero. And so I figured this is probably suitable. And it has collected here are 12 of Harrison's best, including Space Rats of the CCC, probably the greatest space opera ever written, slightly tongue-in-cheek. At last, the true story of Frankenstein, in which our favorite monster gets new life. But whose life is it? Bill, the Galactic Hero's Happy Holiday, in which our favorite drunkard Enlisty is kidnapped by the evil Chingers and hypnotized into believing he's a general, and 9 more classics ranging across time and space. That should be a good one. And of course, we have to end with the one whose title made me say, yes, this is probably GarbAugust material. So we might read Those Idiots from Earth by Richard Wilson. Yes, Mr. Wilson's galloping imagination is something to behold. And it doesn't even tell us anything about the book on the back. Instead, it's got quotes about is one of his other books. Oh, but here we go. Be glad you're human. Not that it wouldn't be fun to be one of Richard Wilson's visitors from outer space, but the trouble is, no matter how mentally superior, or how gorgeous, or how horrible, you'd never win. Not against the wacky, witless, illogical, neurotic, inebriated, and happily fallible denizens of Earth. In the title story, Those Idiots from Earth, an original, Dick Wilson epitomizes a theme recurrent in practically all of his writing: the retirement of extraterrestrials in baffled disorder when faced with the determined idiocy of human beings. This is a theme, however, which takes many forms in the hands of a skilled writer, quietly chilling, as in The Inhabited, distinctly unsettling, as in The Lonely Road, or brashly amusing, as in The Hoaxsters. Whatever the mood, wherever the setting, Dick Wilson does justice to all the facets of diverting science fiction in this, his first group of collected short stories. And, you know, you've got on the back rave reviews for Richard Wilson and the Girl from Planet 5. The Girls from Planet 5. A highly enjoyable risable tale. Mr. Wilson has written a funny, fast-moving blend of sex, satire, and science fiction which should amuse and delight old and new fans alike. I mean, if I had The Girls from Planet 5, I'd probably be reading that in addition to this. Because it sounds like this author is just ripe for GarbAugust. So there we go. We have some potential GarbAugust picks. I imagine I'll get to at least a couple of those. I'll definitely be reading the Harlan Ellison. There's no doubt about that. And starting to work through the 5 that I had made a previous short about, which it's still not too late. You can go and leave a comment and let me know which order I should read them in. Right now, we have The City leading by just the narrowest of margins. There might need to be a recount because it looks like the autocorrect on Sean's comment corrected all of the titles to The City, and clearly that can't stand. So, you know, maybe somebody needs to go and vote against The City just to spite him. But I imagine any of those 5 I'm going to have a good time with, and it'll be fun getting some GarbAugust breaks throughout in there. And then I've got some ideas kicking around for September, where I think I might try to focus on an author and read at least a couple of things and make some videos about that author over the course of a month and do a little bit of digging into them. Because I think that would be fun to learn a little bit more about these authors, because there's a lot of them that wrote science fiction, and there's a couple of them I've got a handful of books by that I need to be reading because I haven't gotten to them yet. And it would be fun to just kind of have a month-long deep dive into them. Probably starting with Ray Bradbury, because I've got more Ray Bradbury on my shelf that I haven't read yet, and I really want to get to more Bradbury. And then we'll go to something like Van Vogt or Gordon Dixon or somebody like that. Isaac Asimov. I've got a handful of. Harry Harrison. I've got some authors that I've got multiple works on and haven't read all of them yet that I'd love to explore. And, that would be fun. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later, BookTube. What are you going to be reading in August? Let me know in the comments down below.